Hello everyone, welcome to my 7th first viewing episode, where last time I said that I would change it up a bit and make it more like how I'm going to do a monthly thing where every month I talk about every new first viewing film I have seen, and I would talk about it and then rank them. So this time I saw 10 first viewing films, and I'm going to talk about them. So let's get right into it. So, with the first one, I watched Mel Brooks's comedy classic, Blazing Saddles. Okay, I have to say, sadly, I've not seen that many Mel Brooks films, and I've only seen Spaceballs, and I hate to admit it, I've not seen Young Frankenstein, The Producers, or To Be or Not to Be. I definitely want to see those movies. And Spaceballs, I can't help it. It's great. I love it. It's definitely my childhood. I've grown up with it. I watched it when I was like 6 years old. And I did get some of the jokes besides the inappropriate stuff. But I've definitely loved Spaceballs. And watching Blazing Saddles, I was definitely excited because I heard it was a racism satire in the West, and okay, it was good, but this is my least favorite movie that I've watched out of the 9 films I've seen, and it's not bad. It's really not a bad movie. None of these 9 films are close to being bad. It's that Blazing Saddles, it felt a little empty, and it just didn't feel like spicy enough. And a lot of people will say that like a lot of the humor wouldn't happen today. I can see that, but I think it doesn't really go that far enough to be that edgy. And I guess another reason why is because I'm not a Western guy, and Star Wars is great because I've never, because I know Star Wars. I've watched, I was a Star Wars fan because you can get most of the jokes that it's referencing, and that's why Spaceballs works. And but again, I'm just not a Western guy. But I do like it. It definitely has a lot of funny stuff. Gene Wilder is funny in this, and I do have to give it credit because this was the very first movie to have the fart joke. Since that joke has been used so many times in movies and TV, it's been ruined now. And now, like, whenever someone is going to watch this movie, the joke is not going to be that funny for that person because it's been ruined already, because it's been countless times. But I do have to say it has one of the, probably the biggest fourth wall breaks ever. And I'm not even going to call it a fourth wall. It's like beyond the fourth wall. It jumps the fourth wall. And, yeah. But that's Blazing Saddles. Was I disappointed? I don't want to say I was, because again, I'm not a big Western guy, so I wasn't that much of a big fan. I definitely do want to check out films like Young Frankenstein and The Producers. They're definitely going to be hilarious. But anyway, that's Blazing Saddles. Wasn't that great, but still enjoyable anyway. It still has its moments. So the next film I watched on Valentine's Day was the classic 90s horror film, Bram Stoker's Dracula. So, a quick story. Back in the 90s, Francis Ford Coppola and Sony Pictures were making monster movies that were adaptations around the original Universal monsters from back in the 30s and 40s, like Dracula, Frankenstein, and the Wolfman, and that other and Dr. Hyde, if whatever that Julia Roberts movie was, whatever that was. But anyway, then he made Coppola made Bram Stoker's Dracula and produced Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and these movies were like really faithful to the books, and you could tell that they're really serious because they put the author's name in the title. That's how faithful they want it to be. And so I watched Bram Stoker's Dracula on Valentine's Day because it is a romance, even though originally in the book, Dracula and Mina don't really share that much of a romance. But anyway, what do I think of Dracula? Now I have to come up right on the back and say, this is one of the best visual effects in films. It's like the fact that Coppola fired the effects team and got his son Roman Coppola to do the effects, because the effects are just groundbreaking. I mean, it's just so breathtaking. Like because there's like no CGI, I believe, in the film. I could be wrong about that, but everything is like either a miniature, and like everything was like rear screen projection sometimes. It's definitely an amazing film when it comes to its visuals. And also the costume designs is like insane, and because it went for costume design and makeup, but for some reason it was not nominated for any of the effects, which is very distasteful that the Oscars did not nominate the effects because they're brilliant. In fact, what did they nominate? This is a joke, right? Death Becomes Her 1? No. No. There are some flaws with this film, and that is Dracula's old man design. Okay, guys, seriously, where's the real design for Dracula? That's not the real design. Come on, guys. In fact, what did James Rolfe really said his design was in the book?
He's always there. I could give away an easy point for all, but that makes no difference either way. So let's take a step further. Which one stays true to Dracula's physical appearance? In the book, he's described as an old man with a mustache. Well, do you see the mustache? Nope. No.
And I can't talk about this film by bringing up one of the biggest miscast roles ever in film. Keanu Reeves as Jonathan Harker. Keanu sucks at doing a British accent.
Jonathan, what is it?
It's just a man himself. Ah, look, he's growing young.
Sometimes the movie is just like a little boring at times, or like, and just sometimes it's too over dramatic at points. There's just some moments where like it's kind of like, okay, come on, just get it over with. And I definitely think Anthony Hopkins was also maybe miscast as Van Helsing, because originally Liam Neeson was going to be Van Helsing. I actually I would see Liam Neeson as Van Helsing. I think he would have been, like, cool, because, I don't know, Hopkins, they obviously just got him because he won an award for being definitely one of the biggest horror films of the 90s. But anyway, and I think Dracula making him more of a tragic figure and giving him a backstory, it kind of ruins him a bit. Now, Klaus Kinski, Nosferatu the Vampire, that's my favorite interpretation of the character, because he was somewhat tragic, but it was like, in a way, but he was more like, his life was a mystery, and he was all about, like just how he doesn't want to be like an immortal anymore. It was more, and he did bad stuff still. Like, it's not that we didn't care for him, but we understand his motives of what he does. That's why I think he's my favorite Dracula. And Oldman does a good job. He does a good job performing, but and just it's definitely, it has a lot of issues, and I think the characters definitely have some problems. I don't really think the characters are well fleshed out besides Dracula and Mina. Like, I mean, it's definitely it's a film of the time. It's got all the hottest stars at that point. So, and I know, I'm not hating on this film again. Even though I used the wah wah joke 2 times already. It just has some problems, but again, it's got great visuals. It's definitely it's a visual experience. And again, I like Bram Stoker's Dracula. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't work out. So I watched another film on Valentine's Day, Brokeback Mountain. So last time I talked about a movie called Moonlight, which, had that big mix-up at the Oscars, and is the story about a gay black man. And I didn't really have that much nice stuff to say, because I thought it was very overrated. I really just thought, it just wasn't a good enough film, and that it just took down La La Land was very unfair. And a lot of people say that's the best gay movie, but no, it's Brokeback Mountain. Now, yes, I digress because I'm not seeing Call Me By Your Name, so, I mean, maybe that is better, but anyway, Brokeback Mountain is such a great film because it's not about being gay. It's literally just about these 2 men who love each other, and, but how it's forbidden. It's just about a relationship, and it's so tragic, but it's just such a great, story that they're telling, and we just see their lives and how they get married, they fall in love with women, and then their downfalls and just how it affects them and their families. It's all done great, and they're just so the performances from Jake Gyllenhaal, Michelle Williams, Anne Hathaway, Randy Quaid, Cousin Eddie from the Vacation films is good. Even David Harbour is in this film. And the late Heath Ledger is really, really great. And I have to debate with myself which is better performance, Brokeback Mountain or in The Dark Knight. I mean, he's just really great in this movie. Now, I know I've said some things about Ang Lee that are not so good, but whenever Ang Lee directs a sort of action film or mostly a comic book, he sucks. But when he does a drama like this, it's great, because, again, this is such a great film, and I definitely need to see, his other films like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and The Life of Pi. But, yeah, he's very good at directing this film, and, since I've already talked about Crash and just how bad it is, and Brokeback Mountain definitely should have won. And I know I said Munich too, and I still love Munich. Munich is so great. That would have been nice if that won too. But I definitely really do love Brokeback Mountain. Should have won at the Oscars. Heavily, heavily snubbed. Yeah, it's Brokeback Mountain, and it's definitely my favorite movie out of the 9. So, alright, so next film is Charlie Kaufman's / Spike Jonze's Adaptation.
My bald head. Maybe if I were happier, my hair wouldn't be falling out. Life is short. I need to make the most of it. Today's the first day of the rest of my life. I'm a walking cliche. I really need to go to the doctor, have my leg checked. There's something wrong. A bump. The dentist called again. I'm way overdue. If I stopped putting things off, I would be happier. All I do is sit on my fat ass.
Said before that one of my favorite movies is Being John Malkovich. I love it. It's such a quirky, weird, funny comedy, drama, romance. It's kind of brilliant. It's almost brilliant. I highly love it. It's such a weird film. It's just so out of the box. And definitely watch Being John Malkovich before you watch Adaptation. But and anyway, what do I think of Adaptation? Is it as good as Being John Malkovich? No, not really. Even though people do love this one better than Being John Malkovich out of like the Kaufman-Jones trilogy, which is Being John Malkovich, Adaptation, and Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Minds. I still love this film. It's definitely up there with my favorites. Just not as high as Malkovich. The thing like that's so again like that's out of box is that it's basically an adaptation of a story called The Orchid Thief, and which did happen in real life. Those are real people, and it's about Charlie Kaufman writing an adaptation of the book. So it's an adaptation about a guy making the adaptation. It's kind of interesting, and like there's no other type of adaptation of a book like that ever, and it's definitely very interesting. And Cage, this is probably my favorite Nicolas Cage film, even though I'm not the biggest Nicolas Cage fan, because I really love him, especially as Donald. He's very good as like Donald Kaufman.
Maybe we should write our names on our food items from now on. What do you think?
What's with you? My back. Hey, Charles, you'll be glad. I have a plan to get me out of your house pronto.
A job is a plan. Is your plan a job?
Drum roll, please. I'm gonna be a screenwriter, like you. Okay, I know you think this is just one of my get-rich-quick schemes, but I'm doing it right this time. I'm taking a 3-day seminar, and it's only $500.
Screenwriting seminars are bullshit.
In theory, I agree with you, but this one's different. This one's highly regarded in the industry.
No, don't say industry.
I'm sorry, I forgot. Charles, this guy knows screenwriting. People come from all over to study with him. I'll pay you back, buddy, just as soon as I...
Let me explain something to you.
Okay.
Anybody who says he's got the answer is going to attract desperate people, be it in the world of religion...
I just need to lie down while you explain this to me. Sorry, I apologize. Okay, go ahead.
I love how it just focuses on these two stories about Charlie Kaufman trying to write this movie about orchids, and his brother Donald, getting some success with his new screenplay, and then the second story about Meryl Streep trying to write about this orchid thief LaRoche, who she's like really fascinated with, and it's definitely just like I do love this movie is great. It's just like the ending, and I don't know. It was just like it's something I don't get, but like I feel like it could have been a lot better, or I think they could have done something else with the ending, because I really do love everything. I love all the actors, from Nick Cage, Meryl Streep, Chris Cooper, and Brian Cox as like a real screenwriter in real life. He does a really great job. I love his monologue. But I mean, Adaptation's a good film. It's Charlie Kaufman. I mean, I really want to see more of his work. I love, again, like, you know, I do love this movie. But I don't have that much to say, because I'd rather you go watch it. I don't want to give away that much stuff about it. So then I watched Borat. Yep.
In my country, they would go crazy. For these two, not so much. Please, you come see.
So, after finally watching one of the most famous comedies of all time, Borat, Yep, it's definitely one of the best comedies ever. It's probably top five for me, one of my top five favorite comedies. It's just such a brilliant premise. Like, everything is so unique about it, from taking this idea from a TV show skit and bringing it into a movie. And it's probably the most unique and greatest version of the fish out of water story. I really don't want to try any clips from Borat because I don't want to ruin it for you. Because the movie is that good. It's that funny. Like, just go see Borat. It's definitely the funniest thing ever. And then right after I finished the first Borat, I watched Borat's subsequent film.
And while the risk of coronavirus remains low, as the president said yesterday, we're ready for anything.
Michael Penis, I brought the girl for you.
Borat's subsequent movie film.
You fist me.
Okay, so Borat's subsequent movie film, I'm still glad it won Best Musical and Comedy and Actor 2, because it's very funny still. I highly love this film. It's so funny. It still goes there. It still has that edgy humor that Borat has. But I think it relied a little bit too much on gross out a bit, and that's my only problem with it. But I actually like it. It's a fun little plot with Borat basically going to America to give Donald Trump a gift because Kazakhstan loves Donald Trump. It's definitely an anti-Trump movie, and it's definitely I'm going to have nostalgia for this film because of just the time that this, it's taking place during. Because this is, like, the first, like, COVID-19 film, like, film about, that's not, like, a documentary. I think that's definitely the most, I think, correct me if I'm wrong about that, but anyway, Borat's subsequent movie film, definitely fun. I loved his daughter. I do wish he had his assistant or producer guy from the first Borat. That would have been nice if he was brought back, and I just love that twist ending. Alright, so next film is Christopher Nolan's The Prestige.
Secrets of my life.
Now, I'm a big Christopher Nolan fan. I do love his films. And watching The Prestige for the first time, because I want to keep seeing more of his work. Like, I still have to see, I just have to see his, like, first three films following Memento and Insomnia. But now watching The Prestige, it's still a very, very good movie. I definitely love it's the story about these two magicians that are, like, competing with each other and how they always rig their acts all the time.
Be foreseen by yourselves or any other audience anywhere in the world. Madam, if you'll place one hand on the back of the cage, one hand on the front. Thank you. Sir, one hand on the bottom of the cage, one hand on the top.
And all the acting from Christian Bale, Hugh Jackman, Scarlett Johansson, Michael Caine, David Bowie, and also Andy Serkis is also in it. A lot of people forget that. And they're all great in this film. But it's definitely not my favorite Nolan film. It's not... When it comes to my favorite Nolan films, it's like, Inception, The Dark Knight, and Dunkirk. They don't really reach the level of goodness, of greatness that are those three films. But Prestige, I still love it. It's definitely top 5 Nolan. Like, it would be like number 4. I do highly enjoy it, and it's definitely like, because it is somewhat refreshing. Because I feel like Nolan's films have been more action. Even Interstellar, that still had its action moments, but The Prestige it's a drama, and it's really good. It's a science fiction drama, and also spoilers. I would just click the link in the bottom to the next movie. But anyway, whatever the twist was at the end, it was cloning. Tesla was cloning. It was a cloning machine anyway, and I definitely like. It was kind of enjoyable. Just it was a cloning machine the entire time. It's not a. It's not just not. I'm not saying it's disappointing or bad. It's kind of a fun twist at the end. So anyway, the next film, The Bad News Bears.
That played baseball like it has never been played before. Academy Award winner Walter Matthau is the coach. Academy Award winner Tatum O'Neal is his secret weapon. Together, they turned the Bad News Bears into a team of superstars you will never forget. The Bad News Bears, the incredible story of how a disaster combined with a catastrophe and somehow became the greatest champs who ever played ball.
Alright, so I'm not the biggest sports movie fan. I'm not a big sports guy either. And sometimes I think sports movies are somewhat cliche a bit, sometimes corny, and just they're never really funny to me. My favorite sports films is like The Karate Kid. I want to consider Gladiator to be a sports film, but guess it's not, but heck, Gladiator's my favorite sport film anyway. I don't know. It was considered a sport back in ancient Rome, so. And I've not really watched the Rocky movies. I'm sad to say, and but now watching Bad News Bears, this is kind of where your average kids sports film begins, where like you have a ragtag group of underdog sports team. This is where all the cliches come, where you just have the fat kid, the kid, the smart one, the little kid, the opposite gender one. It's all there, and it works because since it's the first one. The characters feel like real kids and not a bunch of goofballs. They're still goofballs, but there's just something real about them. And Walter Matthau just feels like a guy who doesn't really want to be there, but he learns to love them, and he overcomes, learning to love kids and becoming a baseball player. And it's sad that he never came back for the sequels, because it would have been good, even though he's better off not returning for any of them. Because I don't really want to watch the sequels or the remake, because this franchise definitely jumped the shark. Yeah, but when I think once you have a title called The Bad News Bears Goes to Japan, you've definitely jumped the shark. But Bad News Bears, just watching this film, I love it. It's definitely a great sports film. Definitely one of my favorite. It's probably the best kid sports film. Only competition is The Karate Kid. And, it's just a very, very good sports film. I don't have that much to say. So next one is Godzilla, 1954 or 56, depending how you care which version you watch.
King of the monsters, alive, surging up from the depths of the sea on a tidal wave of terror to wreak vengeance on mankind. Godzilla, king of the monsters, it's alive!
Okay, I'm not talking that much about Godzilla. I'm actually saving this for another review. I'm just going to say that I'm just telling people that I watched it as over the month. Okay, so final film is the Eddie Murphy classic, Coming to America.
And your friend, too. Coming to America.
Sir, So since there's a new Coming to America film coming out, Coming to America, which I'm definitely looks actually pretty cool. I mean, they have Tracy Morgan, Wesley Snipes coming into the picture, and rewatching the first one. I actually like Coming to America. It's a nice, charming comedy with Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, and I really don't have that much to say because it's just a fun film, and it's a romance, and I guess there's some stuff I like, since it's another fish out of water story like Borat. It's not like Eddie Murphy is like Like he like learns to pick up after himself. He really does learn responsibility, and that's what I think I like that because there's this entire subplot that he's working at a place called McDowell's.
Hey, what are you doing? Get the hell out of here before I bust that camera! Look, me and the McDonald's people, we got this little misunderstanding. See, they're McDonald's. I'm McDowell's. Huh? They got the Golden Arches. Mine is the Golden Arcs. I see they got the Big Mac.
And Darth Vader himself, James Earl Jones, is great in this film as the King of Zamunda. James Earl Jones is great. And I love Arsenio Hall and Eddie Murphy as the barbershop guys and the band and the preacher guy. The movie is just a load of fun. And can't wait to watch the sequel since it's already out. But anyway, Coming to America, great love story, and a great fish out of water story, and a great film. So, now let's rank all 10 of these movies. Number 10 is Blazing Saddles. Disappointing, but funny, just not a big Westerns guy. Godzilla King of the Monsters. I'll explain when I talk about this in the original King Kong once we get closer to Kong vs. Godzilla. Bram Stoker's Dracula. Great visuals, but everything else is not that great, but it's still fantastic. Borat subsequent movie film. Not as good as the first Borat, but when it goes there, it's funny. Coming to America. Funny, good rom-com, and fish out of water story. Bad News Bears, my favorite baseball film, way better than The Sandlot. The Prestige, very good Nolan film that's literally a drama about magicians and Tesla. Adaptation, great Charlie Kaufman film that has a unique idea. Borat, just very unique film, love Borat, nothing else like it. Brokeback Mountain, amazing romance, my favorite film that I've seen from February. Thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. Now, with upcoming first viewings, I don't know about if there'll be anytime soon, because I am still currently rewatching Phase 3 of Marvel so leading up to Black Widow, so I wouldn't expect that many for March. So I'm thinking maybe April and March we might combine those months of movies I saw for the first time. But there you go. Thank you very, very much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.